Om Namo Devaya, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So, Hare Krishna, everybody. Thank you very much for joining us today. And we like to seek your good wishes and your blessings so that we can share the wonderful glories of Ramananda Ray. He was, his appearance, or was it disappearance? I can't remember now which. Disappearance Day was yesterday. But we were busy looking at different temples in South Bharat. So today we'll have a look at, try to understand and glorify his appearance or disappearance or activities in this world. So this is from the Chaitanya Charitamrita, Adilila 10:134.
Ye Panchaputra Tomara Mura Priyapatra Ramananda Sahamura Deha Beda Matra. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told Bhavananda Rai, your 5 sons are all my dear devotees. Ramananda Rai and I are one, although our bodies are different.
So he had a lot of sons, 5 of them, and Ramananda Ray was one of them, Bhavananda's son, and very dear to Lord Chaitanya. When Lord Krishna appeared as Chaitanya, Krishna's eternal associates came with him. Born in Alalanath, Odisha, Ramananda was the eldest of five sons of Bhavananda Ray, of the Shudra caste. In the Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Lila 10:53, Lord Chaitanya tells Bhavananda Ray, you are Pandu, and your wife is Kunti, and your 5 sons are the 5 Pandavas. According to Gaudiya tradition, Ramananda Ray is also an incarnation of Gopi Vishaka. So this often happens. In the spiritual Sarup, they have different forms which manifest in the material Sarup. So very interesting how Ramananda Ray is one of the Pandavas. At the same time, he's one of the Gopis, Vishaka, one of the principal Gopis. Ramananda Ray is a disciple of Raghavendra Puri and a grand disciple of Madhavendra Puri. So Madhavendra Puri again, here we go. Such a famous or very highly regarded acharya in our line. As Ramananda reached adulthood, he served as the governor of the district known as Vidyanagar, around modern-day Rajamundry in South Bharat, then part of Odisha government kingdom of Prataparudra Dev, who acceded to the throne in 1497 after his father Purushottam Dev. Prataparudra empire is spread from the banks of the Ganga to the southern borders of Karnataka, with his capital in Cuttack. Later, Ramananda Ray served as one of the prominent ministers, and was also subsequently appointed as governor. So a very high position. Ramananda Ray's significance in the pastimes of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu begins soon after Lord Chaitanya accepted sannyas, when Lord arrived in Puri and met Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, the king's court pandit. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya was a prominent Mayavadi philosophy. We remember him. He talked to the Lord, trying to convince him that the Mayavad philosophy is the best. And I think they talked for 7 days. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya would explain the Vedas in a impersonal way to Lord Chaitanya. And Chaitanya Maharaj just listened. And at the end, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya said, you haven't said a word. Have you understood anything? And Chaitanya Maharaj said, no, I don't understand what you're saying. The Vedas is very easy, but I don't understand what you're saying. And Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya was then defeated by the Lord's arguments and by his charisma as well. The Lord didn't stay in Puri for long. He left for a tour of South Bharat to spread the holy name of Krishna to all. But just prior to his departure, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya requested him to visit Ramananda Ray at Vidyanagar. Here you will find a singularly super excellent Vaishnav. So what happened was Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya was into the Mayavad philosophy. Ramananda Ray was Krishna conscious completely. So often they would have discussions, and Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya would try to defeat Ramananda Ray and vice versa, but neither really defeated each other. But now, after the defeat by Lord Chaitanya of Sarvabhauma, he realized that what Ramananda Ray was saying was absolutely right. So he then requested Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that there is such a wonderful devotee there. And I was never, I was not convinced by his arguments, but he was absolutely right. So you should meet him. He's such a great devotee. After several adventures on his way into the south, Mahaprabhu finally arrived at Godavari, making a beeline for Vidyanagar. What does that mean? The largest city on the river's bank. It is directly across from an area called Kovur, where Ramananda Ray often bathed. After enjoying the waters there himself, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu at Goshpad Gut, Mahaprabhu sat and waited. Eventually, Ramananda Ray, he came with an entourage because he was the governor. So he had many people with him, including Brahmins. Ramananda Ray and Gaura Hari's conversation in Vidyanagar on the bank of Godavari River details the highest and most confidential aspects of Gaudiya Vaishnava philosophy and is recorded in Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Lila chapter 8. This took place in the year 1512, 2 years after Gaura Hari took sannyas. So there you go. This is at the banks of the Godavari, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Ramananda Ray. So what happened initially, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, they didn't talk because the entourage was there and there was very confidential talks. So then I think they met the following day, again, in private this time, on the banks still. And they had this incredible conversation. And it's a very fascinating conversation, which gives such a wonderful analysis of the different types of processes to reach God. And let's see what they say. Gauranga ordered Ramananda Ray, recite a verse from the revealed scriptures concerning the ultimate goal of life. The ultimate goal, right? Ramananda Ray said, Lord Vishnu is worshipped by the proper execution of prescribed duties in the system of Varnashram. So he's saying the ultimate goal of life is to live as within the Varnashram system and do your duties. That's not a bad argument, right? Not a bad argument. Do your duties, a little bit like what Krishna is saying to Arjun. Do your duty as Kshatriya and fight. And that's backed up by the scriptures and the Bhagavatam.
Varnashram vibhagashaha svanasistatasya dharmasya samsiddheharitoshanam. O best among the twice born, it is therefore concluded the highest perfection one can achieve by discharging the duties prescribed for one's own occupation according to caste, divisions, and orders of life is to please the personality of Godhead.
Quite convincing argument. But what does Chaitanya Mahaprabhu say? No, this is external. Tell me something else. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wasn't interested because you can be in the Varnashram system and execute your prescribed duties, but mentally you can be somewhere else, not quite within the Varnashram system. So it's all external. Tell me something else. So then Ramananda Ray continued, whatever you do, so this is Bhagavad-Gita, whatever you eat, whatever you offer in sacrifice, whatever you give in charity, whatever austerities you perform, all the results of such activities should be offered to Krishna. Anybody know this verse? 927? Yes, go for it, Riyant, go for it.
Yeah.
Here, I'll give you a hint.
You can read it, go on.
Wait, Prabhuji, I can't see the screen.
Oh,
Prabhuji, is it 9.27?
yes.
We've got it on.
I know this verse. Can I recite?
Yes, yes,
yeah,
yes,
yeah,
yes.
yes, you read it.
Karoshi Rasnasi Yeju Sita Dasir Etapasis Kote Kuruswama Darpana.
Translation. Priyansh, you can do the translation.
Whatever you do, whatever you eat, whatever you offer or give away, and whatever austerities you perform, do the son of Kunti as an offering to me.
Excellent. So,
Before I sleep, my mother always recites this 8 and 9 chapter.
oh, very good.
I listen
nice.
to it and sleep.
So nice verse. And offer
Nice
everything.
to meditate on. Yes.
Yeah, very good. Offer everything to Krishna. And what does Chaitanya Mahaprabhu say? No, this is also external. Give me more. Say something else. Okay. Then Ramananda Ray continues. 1866. I think most devotees will know this one. After giving up all kinds of religious and occupational duties, if you come to me, Supreme Personality of Godhead, and take shelter, I will give you all protection from all of life's sinful reactions. Do not worry. So we can recite this together if devotees like. Sarva dharma parityaja mamekam sharanam vraja aham tvam sarva bhakebhyo mukhyasmi. Anybody like to read the translation?
Abandon all varieties of religion and just surrender to me. I shall deliver you from all sinful reactions. Do not fear.
Very good. So this is Bhagavad-Gita, the final verse. And it's as we know.
It is not the final verse.
I know, final instruction. Good point, good point. It's the final series of instructions. Give up everything, surrender unto me. I'll protect you. Yeah. So this is like Krishna up to now has been giving so many different choices. But now he's saying, that's it. All you have to do is give up, surrender unto me. And this sounds like good. It's the final section of the Bhagavad-Gita. But what does Chaitanya Mahaprabhu say? Again, this is external and pleaded, go ahead and say something more. So where Bhagavad-Gita leaves off, of course, Bhagavatam continues. But we already saw Mahaprabhu rejected what was said in the Bhagavatam about Varnashram. So let's see what now Ramananda Ray comes back with. One who is transcendently situated at once realizes the supreme Brahman and becomes fully joyful. Bhagavad Gita. I love this verse. Anybody like to recite this?
Can I try?
You can, unless somebody else would like to. Anybody else?
Yes, Prabhu. Sitaram here.
Okay, go for it.
Prabhu.
Go for it.
Brahmano hi pratistatham armatasya vyasya cha sasvatasya cha dharmasya sukhasya ekanti kasya cha. Translation. And I am the basis of the impersonal Brahman, which is immortal, imperishable, and eternal, and is a constitutional position of my ultimate happiness.
And now we know what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is going to do to that verse. After hearing this, the Lord, as usual, does not accept it, considering it to be external. Then Ramananda Ray says, pure devotional service without any touch of speculative knowledge or impersonal conception is the essence of perfection. Hearing truths from the self-realized devotees. But this is from Bhagavatam. Very, very nice verse again. Maharaj loved this verse. He would chant it again.
Yeah, I know this verse.
Okay. Let's see if anybody else would like to recite it. Anybody else?
Hi, Prabhu.
Yeah.
Savai pumsham paro dharmo yato bhakti radokshaje Ahetukiya pratihata yayatma suprasiddhati. The supreme occupation, dharma, for all humanity is that by which men can attain to loving devotional service unto the transcendent Lord. Such devotional service must be unmotivated and uninterrupted to completely satisfy the self.
Wonderful verse. Wonderful verse. And such a fantastic instruction. Unmotivated, uninterrupted service. Yes, yes, that's good. It's okay. But is there anything more? So this is a good start. Bhakti without any motivations or uninterrupted. Ramananda Ray continued, pure devotion service, pure bhakti in Krishna consciousness cannot be had even by pious activities in hundreds and thousands of lives. It can be attained only by paying one price, intense greed to obtain it. If it is available somewhere, one must purchase it without delay. Nice, really nice. So this is from, this is a verse from the Skanda Puran. Anybody like to recite? Yes, Riyansh.
Madhyamanguli mule cha datte kamalam achyuta dayatra chitra dvipe virepvanam lobhanayati shobhanam.
Excellent. Well done. Well done. You can read this.
At the bottom of the middle toe of that same foot, Lord Achyuta has a lotus flower which increases the greed for him in the minds of the wheel-like devotees who meditate on his feet.
So we have to develop this greed for bhakti to the Supreme Lord. Very important. That greed will help us. We can turn our greed for material items into greed for serving the Supreme Lord and his devotees. That's very nice. Yes, the Lord said, that is all right, but if you know more, please tell me. Okay, Ramananda Ray, he continues. He really is amazing. By eternally serving as a servant, you constantly, one is freed from all material desires and is completely pacified. When shall I engage as your permanent eternal servant and always feel joyful to have such a perfect master? So this is from the Yamunacharya. Hearing this, the Lord again requested him, please, if you know more, go further. Ramananda Ray said, loving service to Krishna rendered in friendship is the highest perfection. So there's a nice verse on this one. Anybody like to have a go at this?
Right, Prabhu?
Yeah, sure.
Itham satam brahma sukhanubhutya dasyam gatanam paradevatena maya shritanam naradarakena shakam vijaruha krita punya punja. Neither those who are engaged in self-realization, appreciating the Brahman effulgence of the Lord, nor those engaged in devotional service while accepting the Supreme Personality of Godhead as Master, nor those who are under the clutches of Maya, thinking the Lord an ordinary person, can understand that certain exalted personalities, after accumulating volumes of pious activities, are now playing with the Lord in friendship as cowherd boys.
So Bhagavatam describes the glories of the Gopas and how they cannot be compared to somebody who's accumulated volumes of pious activities. What does Chaitanya Mahaprabhu say? Yes, that's good. Very good. But is there more? Ramananda Ray continued, "O Brahmana," so this is another verse from Bhagavatam. "What pious activities did Nanda Maharaj perform by which he received the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna as his son? And what pious activities did Mother Yashoda perform that made the absolute supreme truth Krishna call her mother and suck her breaths?" Oh, I'm not sure where that verse went. Okay, so this is a beautiful, beautiful verse. The Lord said, "Yes, your statements are certainly getting better and better, one after the other, but surpassing all of them, is there another transcendental mellow? What do you think, devotees? Is there any more? Is there anything higher than Mother Yashoda?"
Madhurya Rasa.
Madhurya Rasa.
Wow, well done. You shouldn't even know about that at your age. When Lord Krishna was dancing with the gopis in the Ras Leela, the gopis were embraced around the neck by the Lord's arms. This transcendental favor was never bestowed upon the goddess of fortune or other consorts in the spiritual world. That love which has the highest taste is in the gradual succession of desires manifests itself in the form of conjugal love. Therefore, the qualities found in Shanta, Ras, Dasya Ras, Sakya Ras, Vatsalya Ras are all manifested in conjugal love, Madhurya Ras. Lord Krishna cannot proportionately reciprocate devotional service in Madhurya Ras. Therefore, he always remains a debtor to such devotees. So then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, yes, this is the limit of perfection, but if there is any more, please be merciful to me and speak. So then Ramananda Ray carries on. Among the loving affairs of the gopis, Srimati Radharani's love for Krishna is topmost. Even Lord Krishna cannot reach the limit of her transcendental qualities. Even Lord Krishna cannot reach. This is incredible. So then there is a verse, finding herself treated equally with all the other gopis, Srimati Radharani displayed her tricky behavior and left the circle of the Ras dance. The Ras dance does not shine in the heart of Krishna without Srimati Radharani. Therefore, he also gave up the circle of the Ras dance and went to search for her. So this is from 10th canto. So then how does Gauranga reply? Now I have come to understand the sublime goal of life and the process of achieving it. But I think there is something more. And my mind is desiring to have it. So is there anything more? What do you think?
Of course there is, if he's asking.
Okay, let's see what it is. Lord Krishna's sweetness is so attractive that it steals away his own mind. Thus, even he wants to embrace himself. Upon seeing his own reflection in the bejeweled pillar of his Dwarka palace, Krishna desired to embrace it, saying, "Alas, I've never seen such a person before. Who is he?" Just by seeing him, I have become eager to embrace him, exactly like Srimati Radharani. So he was seeing himself. So what a verse. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu replied, now I have come to understand the truth of loving affairs between Radha and Krishna. Nonetheless, I still want to hear how both of them gloriously enjoy such love. So he wants to hear more nectar. Day and night, Lord Krishna enjoys the company of Srimati Radharani in the bushes of Vrindavan. Thus his pre-youth age is fulfilled through his affairs with Srimati Radharani. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, yes, it's okay, but is there more? Saying this, Ramananda Ray began to sing a song he had composed about Prema Vilas Vivarta. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, out of ecstasy of love of Godhead, immediately covered Ramananda Ray's mouth with his own hands. And he said, without the help of the gopis, one cannot enter into these pastimes. There is no other procedure for understanding. So that was, okay. And this is a verse. Okay, who'd like to chant this one? Anybody? Any volunteers?
Yes, Prabhu, Haribol.
I can read the translation, but I can't do the words.
So
Okay.
Sita Ram can do
Yes,
the
Prabhu.
words, and you can do the translation, Kamash.
Okay, good.
Radhaya bhavatascha chita jatuni svedar vilapya krama yunjana trini kunja kunjara pate nirdhuta bheda brahma chitraya swayam anaranjayatiha brahmada harma dodare Bhuyubhirnava ragahinguta para sangara karu kriti.
That's amazing. Huh?
Wow, well done. That was beautifully.
Amazing.
Mhm.
Translation. O my Lord, you will in the forest of Govardhan Hill, and like the king of elephants, you are expert in the art of conjugal love. O master of the universe, your heart and the Srimati Radharani's heart are just like shellac and are now melted in your spiritual perspiration. Therefore, one can no longer distinguish between you and Srimati Radharani. Now you have mixed your newly invoked affection, which is like vermilion, with your melted hearts, and for the benefits of all the whole world, you have painted both your hearts red within this great palace of the universe. Thank you.
Very good. So, such an amazing verse. Amazing verse. From the Chaitanya Charitamrita. So this is considered the highest of all the scriptures because it contains the absolute closest dealings between Radha and Krishna. So Bhagavad-Gita, then Bhagavatam, and then Chaitanya Charitamrita. Okay. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu confirmed these verses recited by Ramananda Ray, saying, "This is the limit of goal of human life. Only by your mercy have I come to understand it conclusively." So it takes a devotee to explain it to the Lord, because the Lord doesn't understand how the devotee can love him so much. But the devotee knows. And Vishakha, or Ramananda Ray, is Vishakha, none other than Radharani's close associate. The goal of life cannot be achieved unless one practices this process. Now, being merciful upon me, please explain that means by which this goal can be attained. The pastimes of Radha and Krishna are very confidential. They cannot be understood through the mellows of servitude, fraternity, or parental affection. Actually, only the gopis have the right to appreciate these transcendental pastimes. Only from them can these pastimes be expanded. Unless one follows in the footsteps of the gopis, he cannot attain the service of the lotus feet of Krishna, son of Nanda Maharaj. If one is overcome by knowledge of Lord's opulences, he cannot attain the Lord's lotus feet, even though he's engaged in devotional service. After hearing this, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu embraced Ramananda Ray, and both of them embraced shoulder to shoulder, began to cry. Embracing shoulder to shoulder, began to cry. So this is the most incredible conversation. And this should be studied again and again and again. And hopefully at some point we will try to get to the Chaitanya Charitamrita and cover this in some detail. But this is really, truly, Ramananda Ray's conversation with Gauranga clearly sets out the ultimate goal. And we have to somehow get the mercy of the Brijbasis. So doing seva to them, especially in Varsana, is actually one of the keys to getting the association of Radha and Krishna.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Thank you.
I went to Barsan.
Ah, good boy. So this is Ramananda Ray, and then later on, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in that conversation actually reveals to him
Yes.
Radha and Krishna. Yeah, I am Radha and Krishna.
Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya is a king.
Sorry?
Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya is a king.
Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya was advisor to the king. He was the court Pandit. And they were close, Ramananda Ray and Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, good friends in Puri. This is one of Ramananda Ray's temples where they have, it's the Gaudiya Math, Ramananda Ray Gaudiya Math. So, and this is the conversation that is depicted here in that Gaudiya Math. So after 10 days, Gauda Hari begged Ramananda Ray to give him permission to leave. And at that time of farewell, the Lord gave the following orders to Ramananda Ray. Give up all material engagements and come to Puri. I will return there very soon after finishing my tour and pilgrimage. Two of us shall remain together at Jagannath Puri and happily pass our time discussing Krishna. So that's exactly what he did. He gave up everything and he went to Jagannath Puri. Later, with the permission of King Pataparudra, Ramananda Ray went to Puri. Sarup Damodar was the dearmost friend of Ramananda Ray. Together they used to serve the Lord, constantly with him, pretty much all the time. Having written dramas on the pastimes of Krishna, Ramananda had them performed before Chaitanya, Jagannath, Baladev Subhadra, by the Devdasis of the temple. So then Ramananda Ray passed away after the disappearance of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So that's the end of the Leela I wanted to share about Ramananda Ray. Anybody like to share anything else about this amazing personality, or any questions?
Prabhuji?
Yeah.
I am preparing a presentation on Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.
Okay, good. Very important.
And I will send this to, I will take classes now, Prabhuji. I will send to the kids and they will read and I will put the question.
Good. Very good. Okay. Thank you so much. So we can stop there.